Here we go. Here we go. You look great. So our webinar is live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this amazing, amazing day. Why is it amazing? Because we get to celebrate somebody incredible who has been doing incredible things. Mr. Leo Pareja, he'll be entering the room very shortly. Again, this meeting is, here he is. Here he is. We were just talking about you briefly. Mr. Leo Pareja, who is the newly announced, appointed CEO of the fastest growing real estate company in history, also first Latino CEO of a publicly traded Fortune 500 company ever in history. We can't hear you yet.
That's in housing.
So, in housing. Awesome.
Yes, of a publicly traded company in housing, real estate, mortgage, or title. But there are other who lead public companies.
Wow, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. I know that, so I'm Rosie Rodriguez, and we have our leadership team here for eXp Latino. This is the network inside of eXp Realty that we embrace, and we bring people together in this community. So, of course, as eXp Latino, and you being Latino, we wanted to have like a little bit of a special time with you and, of course, celebrate you. So, Gino, Rebecca, Rachel, we're going to get right into it. We know that you only have about 30 minutes with us today. So if it's okay with you, Leo, we're going to start off with just kind of looking at a little bit of your background and your history, which I was reading it again and still my mind is blown at everything you've done. So Gino, get us started here.
It's, I was actually reading this myself, and I was just blown away with how much you've done, how much you've accomplished in this industry. So I'm going to try to, not go outside, not get sidetracked, because this is a nice long bio. But Leo Pareja embarked on his real estate career at the age of 19. By the age of 28, he had become the number one, not number two, number one Keller Williams agent worldwide. Over his 15-year career in sales, Pareja sold approximately 4,000 homes. That is huge. In 2012, he co-founded Washington Capital Partners, transforming it into one of the largest private lending companies on the East Coast, with over $2 billion in originated hard money loans. In 2016, he co-founded Remind, a platform that quickly became the fastest growing MLS platform in the industry, achieving an 80% market share and attracting over 1.1 million users. Wow.
That's crazy. Wow. Number one in the world. Like, just stop there. And then continuing on, Rachel.
Well, not only did he do all that, but after creating both WCP and Remind, Leo went on and to join eXp Realty's executive leadership. He's a named officer of EXPI, and his role involves devising strategies that enhance and continually develop eXp Realty's competitive edge and position to our agents. He is dedicated to optimizing and organizing and pursuing new growth opportunities for the company and for our agents.
And Rebecca.
And alongside being a personal friend of mine and the most down-to-earth leader that I know, so proud to be serving or to be here working under him. Pareja has also been recognized 5 times in the Swanepoel Power 200, the SP 200 ranking among the most powerful and influential executives in the residential real estate brokerage industry. In 2020, alongside his wife, Ariana, Leo co-founded the Pareja Family Foundation. The foundation awards scholarships to disadvantaged women and minorities, enabling them to attend a 6-month tech bootcamp. This initiative aims to help them enter the tech industry without college debt, potentially doubling or even tripling their income.
I'm going to have you guys come introduce me at all my calls. This is
This is a tidbit of what you've done. You're amazing. We're so proud and honored to have you.
Well, 2 of you I have not gotten to know as well, but these 2 ladies have been long time friends. So I'm happy to have you guys as friends now. Thank you, Gino and Rachel.
Very excited.
Yeah, I think before we were friends, I just want to admit, Leo, like I was a fan, first time I was a fan. The very first time I met you, we were at one of the conventions and you were strolling along in a little bicycle thing because you had something going on with your knee.
It was
Uh,
my Achilles. I ruptured my Achilles.
yeah. And so somebody said, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like, "No, I don't know. I don't know this guy." Like a little, rolling around the event. And now I was like, oh my gosh, after our first conversation, and then we've had several afterwards, I was like, this guy is fire. So I'm so excited that you're here. I think my very first question, as we were thinking about questions to ask you, Leo, how long have you exactly been with us here at eXp?
I think, let me check a calendar, 2 years in about 10 days.
Okay. And in 2 years, you've already you took Glenn Sanford, put him out of a job, right? Took over the CEO position gracefully.
I would not say that.
No.
This is my first job I've ever had. When Glenn called me, I told him I don't know that I was employable because I've only been the founder and CEO. But I said yes because I wanted to learn from him.
Yeah.
And I continue to learn from him every day. So it's an honor to serve all of you guys, but still partner and learn from Glenn because he's created something that I think has changed so many lives. And so I think this is more of expanding the bench, if you will, because Glenn now can focus exclusively on EXPI and expanding the value proposition for all of you guys and shareholder value. And he's going to let me do the day-to-day of realty, which is very time consuming. So it can free him up to focus on other things. So
Yeah.
in no way do I feel like I'm replacing that man. I don't think that's possible.
No, I don't think anybody can replace Glenn. Glenn is just a genius on another level. And I think just the fact that he saw the talent in you, Leo, and saw how, just the spirit of our company as a whole is how we work together, how we build together. It's a very hands-on company. Being here for 6 years, I just keep being blown away by all of his decisions and how he continues to bring value over and over to the agents. There's lots of companies that talk about, next year you're going to look forward to, and these are some things that we want to do. However, here at eXp, it's like, hey, we're having a meeting next week, and this is what we're rolling out. It's very action oriented, very agile, which is part of our, part of our core principles. In that time that you've been here, Leo, what do you most like? What are 2 or 3 things that you've had a chance to work on and that you're most proud of?
So since I've gotten here, I feel like one of the things Glenn was looking to add to the leadership team was folks who had been at scaled businesses, right? Because eXp went through hyper growth. And I feel like he's assembled a whole team of leaders who've come from bigger companies with a pretty diverse background. And so I would say collectively, not just me, we were all obsessed with operational excellence. So the basics of what being a brokerage is: paying you guys faster, onboarding you smoother, returning your questions from the broker faster, right? The not sexy stuff is the most important stuff, in my opinion, right? Because at the end of the day, we're your brokerage, and you need to have the experience with us be excellent as a baseline of opportunity. And then we can talk about all the cool additional stuff that comes with being the largest brokerage on the planet. And so the very first couple things I focused on was creating, and more than anything, naming Revenos and creating additional opportunities there. So for the folks that don't know, Revenos is our corporate lead gen platform. And it's less lead gen, more referral based, in the sense where this is high intent business for agents. Last year, I think we handed out over 14,000 referrals with 3,100 closings for over $1.1 billion. And we're on track to increase that dramatically. And that's a variety of opportunities, from corporate relocation to affinity to a little bit of REO, but more recently we've been adding corporate ownership of single family homes, so STRs, and institutional owners of real estate who are not immune to the high interest rate spikes. So they're having to dispose of thousands of properties across the United States, mostly around the Sun Belt, where a lot of that happened. But I want to focus on creating experiences that are unique to eXp. right? We are the single largest brokerage on the planet from both agent count and transaction count, which makes us very special because we're a single brokerage. And so opportunities like eXp exclusives, where, we now have very high adoption rate from the agent standpoint. So if you haven't done that, please go download the app. It's the Zenlist app and log in with your Okta login. But it's inventory that's unique to only us, following clear cooperation and compensation. You're able to have access to listings that are only ours. But in addition to, the platform just displays any and all eXp listings, so both active, coming soon, and off market, which becomes a very unique opportunity that we've created in here. And the last thing that I've put a lot of energy into is our mastermind. So we have a top agent mastermind that's invite only, and I'm working on rolling them more at the regional level. So almost think about it as mastermind in a box. I say it all the time: people join people. Companies are just a collection of human beings. As we've well seen, models can be copied. I think we have like 26 bootleg versions of us out there now. But the reality is, you can go to a website, take all the feature sets and make it your own. What you can't replicate is the human beings. Mathematically speaking, by the data, we have the most productive agents in the industry, from the highest producing teams to just people doing really amazing entrepreneurial things. And I think that's probably the most valuable thing that we have here, is that people are attracted to their own tribe of success, and proximity is power. The amounts of stories, which I'm now going to focus on storytelling, where an agent joins us doing 10 million in production, who's been stuck at a ceiling, within a couple of years doubles or triples their production, because it's very different to get coaching on a one-to-one level versus being in the room with folks who are doing things in your market or in a similar market. It's the Roger Bannister effect. So I don't know if most people know that story of the 4-minute mile. It was considered humanly impossible until one guy did it. And then the following year, the more important thing is 13 people did it, right? So as human beings, representation matters, an example matters. And so I think that becomes our most valuable asset. It's the community, it's the collaboration, it's the learning.
You said a couple of things that just blew my mind. We handed out over 15,000 referrals, agent referrals, agent opportunities internally, right? This is just for our agents. These are just things that, with the relationships that you've brought to the table, the corporate accounts, whatnot. 15,000 with over 1.1 billion?
In closed business, right? So we all know that sometimes a referral could take 3, 6, 90, 3, 6 months to go through the workflow and whether or not they buy. But yes, that is new business that agents did not have through their channels. This is corporate referred.
And the second thing, and this is a big claim, that we have the most productive agents in the industry by the numbers.
And I'll say where I get that quote, because I always want to be able to reference the statements I make. So our top 250 teams last year sold 69,000 plus homes. Just our top 250 teams. That would make them the 6th largest brokerage in the US by transaction count. So I'm not saying by a per person productivity we have the most productive, or different companies have different measures, but just by pure sheer units, we have some of the highest producing teams in the industry. And that's how I made the reference that if you take our top 250 teams of a single company, right? Because that's the big distinction. Sometimes we'll get compared to other brands. Brands aren't companies. Brands sell a franchise. We are one company, one brokerage, one group, which allows us to do things that other companies can't, because you could both be affiliated with the same brand at 2 different franchises who are 2 different ownership groups, from as simple as internal communication, right? Like, we are one company. You guys can log in a workplace and message anybody in the company. Other companies that are brands don't have that seamless technology and kind of flat organization where anyone can message anyone in the company and find their contact information and get in front of them.
And something else about that, because like you said, you could go to a brand in one office and another office, or one network, another network. However, we are one, and the masterminds that you talk about, we've all heard the saying that you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And so the concept that our brokerage, our single brokerage, is pulling, talent and creating a space for talent from one part of the country to collaborate with talent from another part of the country, that's not something that's seen in, the small, local brand or whatnot. You're basically, trying to learn from the 1, 2, or 3 guy or girl in the office who is super hyper focused on what they're doing. And really, it's not their responsibility to kind of like come out and like bring the whole office up. But here, you're working with talent across the company, and then also just it really nurtures a really high level of collaboration. So I love that, you're working in that direction. I have to ask you, because your resume is incredible. You've done so many incredible things, and really in a good position to retire with your beautiful wife and your children, and just kind of hang out and do a little stock trading or whatever it is that you would enjoy doing. Leo, what drives you? Like, what drives you to even take on this role and embark on this new journey?
So good question. I think human beings at any level want to feel part of something and be challenged. And I talk a lot about mindset and how you're wired and what is important to you. And so I tell folks you should always have an honest conversation with yourself about what your gifts are. And this, whether it's the DISC profile, AVA, Myers-Briggs, pick one. I think in life, if you understand what brings you joy and energy. And so, for example, for me, I like people. I'm very high I, and I'm a D. So if I had to look at spreadsheets all day and do stuff that is not in where I draw energy from, and I'm not talking esoterically with crystals and essential oils and, just how you get your energy in life, like doing this, I actually really enjoy this. I'm not scared to get a microphone and jump in front of 800 people, 5,000 people, when statistically that is like the greatest fear that most people have. But if I had to look at Excel 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that would be very not productive to how I'm wired. So, and then, I think we all have a different definition of what winning looks like, right? So, when there's all kinds of data that shows that after a certain dollar amount, incremental money does not create happiness. So once you've kind of achieved some of your economic goals, you still need to feel driven and excited to be somewhere. And for me, I like winning. I like competing. It's what drove me to become number 1 or 30 under 30 or some very specific goals I set out. And so this opportunity is one that I'm excited to rise to the challenge. And I will say that we're the single largest real estate company on the planet, but our next goal is to become the single largest brand on the planet from an agent count size. So you can look up the other brands. I don't need to name them, but we're coming for all of you. And that to me is exciting, because that means we get to partner with the other smartest people in the industry that we're not in business with yet. And I will tell everybody on this call that I'm having more conversations with small to mid-sized independents than I ever dreamed of in the last 90 days. Companies that 6 months ago would have not even returned my call are now following up with me via text to see when I can chat with them. And this is all because of the NIR settlement, right? There is a lot of fear and uncertainty, which is rightfully real, just because there's going to be a lot of shift and change in our world. And people are legitimately concerned about protecting the asset they built. They're concerned about, outstanding liabilities that they are not even aware of. And so I think that there's going to be massive amounts of change come mid-August, which slid from mid-July. But I think that's going to be a COVID-sized growth opportunity for us. And I would encourage everyone on here, if there is a big team or a big company that you probably think that they're not interested in having a conversation, you'd be surprised who's willing to have a conversation right now.
And I think that a lot of that, when you said that, before the North settlement, that, people are maybe a little more comfortable, and this has really shaken up our industry, especially brokers and independents who are looking for, just a a more strategic way of growing. I have to ask you, like, when you think about what our company is going to look like, because our CEO casts a vision. And by the way, I absolutely love your competitive nature. I mean, I've heard, I've been in conversations with you, and you're just something else. Like, you've got this, beautiful, obsessive and competitive gene that a lot of people, I think, I'm looking at Rebecca here and Gino, like, everybody's smiling because, we know that it is in your DNA to want to win. And, the other beautiful part is that you are very down to earth, like Rebecca says, but it's not about you winning. It's about your tribe winning, right? It's about the people. You're one of us. So with that, what is your vision, Leo, for, the next 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. Where are we going? Tell us.
So the first thing I will say is how I see the company. And I see the company as a platform to allow real estate entrepreneurs to build whatever size dream they want. Right. And so I always want to start off by telling people that what it is we do for a living. And what we do for a living is we help American families find where they're going to raise their family, where they're going to put their bed at night, or their head at night, where they create the memories that are meaningful. So we're part of a very important human condition process. And I think what we do is extremely noble by holding people's hand through the single largest financial decision they make in their lifetime. They only make it a couple times in their lifetime. And they need that expert guide through the process, which, if you've heard me at keynotes, I refer to as like the Sherpa, right? So the expert guide that can help them ascend a treacherous mountain. And without expert guidance, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. So in any given year, 4 to 7 million moves happen. And if you look at the low number, which happened in 2023, it'll happen again in 2024. And then the last time it was this low was 2008, 9, 10. But the peak years were 2021, 2006 at around 7 million. So somewhere between 4 to 7 million families move every year in purchases. And then there's a whole bunch of other moves in rentals. But if we start with that is the chosen profession we have. And then what are we? We are a platform to provide you guys the tools to build whatever size business that means to you. And so we serve multiple avatars in this business, and I'm always excited and proud to be in business with the top, smartest teams and individuals. But I'm also just as excited to be in business with our solo practitioner agents who do 5 to 20 deals a year, because that's actually the majority of the agents in this country. Right. And I'm very numbers driven. So I'm actually aware how meaningful that agent is to our company. And so I spend a lot of time thinking through, yes, how to serve the top performers, but how do I make being with us better than not being with us? Right. Business is a choice, who you do business with, what products and services you use. And I always like to remind everybody to use themselves as a sample size of one. The reason you like certain products or services is less about brand loyalty. Like, for example, I'm talking to you on my Apple MacBook. I have a watch on, my phone's right there, my AirPods are right there, my wallet's right there. It's all Apple. It's not because I'm a fanboy of the company. It's actually because it's a frictionless experience, right? The reason we like the one click of Amazon is because they have your credit card and it arrives the next morning, right? We gravitate to a process or workflow that has the least amount of friction. I think that's the name of the game in business. And so my obsession is to create as little friction as possible in you serving those families. So over time, what that looks like is staying in front of all technology shifts, right? I'm old enough that I argued in my real estate office in 2002 with an agent who wasn't sure if email was going to be a thing, right? And wanted to fax the contract and didn't want to get a cell phone. It's funny now, but that was a real debate 20 years ago. And mobile changed everything, right? I see technology as an accelerant in process flow. So now you see teams and agents doing a lot higher volumes, either individually or as a team, because they leverage technology. It's sped everything up. And whether it's AI or blockchain or whatever new buzzword comes along, I would encourage you guys, which is what we do at corporate, it's like we should be testing and experimenting. And some stuff will be, the flavor of the moment. And then the other stuff will be transformational. So our vision is to become the premier brand globally. Whatever number that ends up being is what it ends up being, because I'm focused on partnering with the smartest people in the world, not necessarily a specific number as a kind of binary goal, but that will only come from continuing to iterate and be the trendsetter. I mean, Glenn invented a category. Right now, there is a whole category called cloud brokerage that didn't exist. And even 5 years ago, it was a tough sell. And now it's the fastest growing segment in real estate. So, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what amazing tools and opportunities are around the corner. But I'll tell you, we have an entire group of folks focused on finding out what it is. How do we make you faster, stronger, better? With you can do more with less. But again, at the end of the day, our job is to give you the tools to serve those families looking to make that very large emotional and financial decision.
Now I'm gonna ask one more question, and one of the things that you shared in a meeting somewhere, and you've shared it a few times. This is an eXp Latino meeting, and we have a little gift for you. I don't know if Gino or Rachel have you guys are ready. Okay, so before we go to that, nuestra comunidad está súper orgullosa. We are so proud, just to know that you've opened up a new door, for our Latino community. Dinos un poquito de cómo te sientes. How do you feel being in this historic role? How does that connect? How does that connect with you y tu comunidad, nuestra familia?
No, I mean, it's super meaningful. Representation matters. Y ser latino es una parte muy grande de quien soy, right? I've always been advocating for Latinos since, I got into the business. I started, my first client of scale was El Comité Hispano de Virginia, where I would teach first-time home buyer seminars on the weekends and explain to people closing costs. And because unfortunately, where a lot of the 06, 07 problems were because people were not clear on what they were signing. I was born in Latin America. I grew up there till I was 12 years old. English and Spanish were learned at the same time. I don't consider either one of them a second language, but it's a part of my identity that's very important to me. But I also, one of the reasons I was so attracted to NARP was I've never looked at, us as a, we deserve a seat at the table because of we need a handout. We are the economic engine of growth of this country. If you look at the census data, if you look at all of the data when it comes to household formation, who's buying homes, the buying economic power of the Latino community, it's the engine of growth for the next 50 years for this country. So I'm proud of it, and I'm very willing to always be the voice, and representation matters.
Thank you so much. So well said. We are an eventuality, I think is your word, right?
That is what I would say a lot. Yes. And even when you are trying to get a piece of business and you're explaining that, that is a quote I've said quite a bit. Statistically, we are an eventuality.
So I know you have to go. Before you go, we have a gift that a lot of us put a little bit of time in. It's, I think, about a minute and a half. So, Gino, would you do the honors of sharing this? This is from us to you. Congratulations, Leo Pareja, for becoming the very first Latino CEO of a publicly traded Fortune 500 real estate company ever in history. On behalf of eXp Latino, te queremos decir que estamos súper orgullosos y orgullosas de ti y tenemos un regalito para ti.
Congratulations, Leo, hermano!
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations, man. So proud of you.
Congratulations, my man. This is your time.
Gracias, mi hermano. Muchas felicidades.
Muy bien merecida. De verdad, muy bien merecida.
Happy to have you. Congratulations, felicidades y con todo. Muchas felicidades, Leo.
Congratulations, man. I'm really hyped for you.
I want to send a huge congratulations. Es un orgullo tenerte como our first Latino CEO.
Congratulations on becoming the new CEO.
Now they only say congratulations.
Felicidades, Leo. Congratulations as the eXp Latino ambassador.
Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations, Leo.
Congratulations, Leo. Grateful to have you guiding us.
Sí se puede. Felicidades.
Now you're going to send me to my next meeting, all emotion. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
We love you. We love you. Thank you so much.
We love you, Leo. Thank you for all you do for this company. And we are so excited for the future. And I couldn't be prouder for this moment right now. You are the best leader. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right. That was incredible, everyone. That was incredible. Thank you, everybody who participated. Thank you for supporting and being so engaged and involved in eXp Latino. I love that our CEO he is such a representation of success, of accomplishment, his story standing on its own, and the fact that he is Latino, it just makes everything much more impactful. Look forward to seeing you guys. Our next meeting is going to be the first Wednesday of every month, and feel free to take this. We're gonna publish this. We're gonna share it with you guys. Share it with friends. Share it with family. Share it with anybody. This is the time to really expand and to grow and to share this vision, this opportunity, and move into our Latino market because it's so exciting. We are an eventuality. Thank you guys for being here. We will see you the first Wednesday of the month, ladies, gentlemen.
Gracias a todos. Adiós.